I don't know. I just don't know anymore.
I don't know.
That one I know.
Well, I mean, we're not going to be driving as much anymore.
Right. Meant nothing by it.
No. I would have done it.
Don't do that to me. Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Awesemo.com NBA strategy show presented by No House Advantage. I'm Dave Loughran at Loughy_D. I had to get my bearings together there for a second. At Loughy_D, LOUGHY_D for those of you podcast listeners. Find me on the socials. Joined by Josh Engleman at Josh Engleman, 7-game slate. I didn't think I was on this show today, but here we are. Just an insane amount of reckless binge drinking till 5 a.m. for me last night, Josh, and I am not doing well.
Well, that's fine. As per usual, I will carry this show, so you could just ride along in the sidecar and everything will be fun.
I'm joking, by the way. Late hockey game.
I mean, you're not like totally joking.
No, I mean, totally
everything
joking.
But the binge drinking is true.
Oh, yeah. Like the very late night is very with men's league hockey, man, they make you they don't schedule you good times anymore. You know what I mean? It's like you can come in after the like high school field hockey or whatever it is. I'm not even kidding either. And or come in after this or that. You can get your 10 p.m. slot and get home after midnight. It's not fun. I mean, I love it, but
is there a women's league or are they just not allowed to play in your league? You said it's men's league hockey.
No, but the rinks host different sports and different, stuff.
Is there a women's league hockey?
No, they wouldn't fill it. They wouldn't fill it. There wouldn't be enough.
Do you have any women in your league?
There was once, and oh my God, there was once, and you would have mistaken her for a dude, and she got Jordan. Jordan gets so bent out of shape about these things. It's okay to say you have a girl that is playing hockey, had no hair down, thought it was a guy on our team, lit her up into our bench, and it created a huge brawl because the other team started screaming, that's a girl. Now, I'm of the mindset, however, that
if you're on the ice, everybody's fair game.
If you're on the rink, right? If you're on the rink, now granted, it's a non-check league, but these men's
okay. That's a little bit different then, man.
Now, these men's check, they get choppy, they get chippy. You know what I mean? They just do, right? They get people aren't going around just crushing each other, but stuff happens all the time. I've taken some shots, some cheap shots and this and that. But if you're out there, I don't think it's unreasonable to say that you are, opening yourself up to whatever comes with the game. And that's what you, and I'm assuming had you asked them, they would have said, yeah, hell yeah. Don't take it easy on me.
Right. Yeah. To totally agree with you there. If you're out there and you're a grown adult, you are making the decision that some negative shit might happen.
Right. Look,
now, if it's a no check league and you're putting someone into the bench,
well, he got ejected and he got a 2-game suspension. So
it's a bit of a gray area.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But it is just the way it goes, man. Anyway. Happy to be with you guys. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't done so yet. I'm starting to wake up a little bit. You get start to feel a little bit better here. I mean, granted,
I've been awake for 5 hours, man.
I know. I was gonna say it is. You've been up since 5:15.
Ugh.
Right, but you probably I didn't fall asleep till past 12:30. You probably fell asleep at like 8.
No, I'm well 9, after
maybe
8.
9.
Well, I can tell you. The answer to when I fell asleep was, per my watch, 9:58.
Oh, okay. So you got a solid 7 hours.
Yeah.
All right.
Solid. More solid than you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm half dead. But I'm here. We're here. We're talking basketball. We got 7 games. We got almost 200 people watching, almost 60 likes already. I mean, this is the show that just churns out likes, Josh, and we appreciate you guys for it. But if you haven't done so yet, hit it. Only takes a second. Subscribe to the channel as well. And if you want, join it. Hit it down below. Get the free super chats each month, the sweet custom emojis, those badges. Those 12-month badges got to be coming in soon. I'm still waiting. Like Jordan's has got to be coming in soon. It looks sexy.
What color is the 12-month?
It's like a sick blue.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
nice. Very noticeable when it comes out.
Oh, 100%. I would argue that it looks better than the 24-month badge. But the 24 is kind of cool because it's like the Awesemo gradient, which is
right.
Like peak excellence. But yeah, and we'll always prioritize all your comments and questions in chat along with our Discord members. How was last night for you, man?
That was great. I made pork chili verde and didn't play DFS.
Oh, you didn't play last night. Took a little day off. A little hiatus.
I was in charge of dinner yesterday. Wife's got me covered for Monday and Thursday, so I had to take a night. And I had a dentist appointment Tuesday, so I didn't know what my status was going to be. So I had to cook dinner last night, so I didn't play.
All right. Nice. I told you before the show, man. People got to start checking out the betting video I'm doing over there at Odd Shopper channel. We swept yesterday 6-0 across the board, just clean sweep. But I've been getting a couple bad breaks recently. No. Listen, but I'm willing to admit when I have good luck as well, because I took the under on Jokic points, rebounds, and assists. And one of the reasons was he's been under in 8 of his last 10 games. That's still a lot of points, rebounds, and assists, no matter how good you are. Let's be honest with ourselves, right?
It is.
But under in 8 of his last 10. But I also thought, they're 15. The line moved to 15.5. It was like 13.5 by the time I was done my show. And I was like, this game could get out of control. So it's still a lot. He might not play the 4th. So we got a little lucky there, but you'll take it because they ended up losing by double digits at home to the Thunder.
The Thunder are weird, man.
Without like everyone not named Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
I can't wrap my head around it. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for the playoffs. You and I are going to have a really fun
it's going to be
late April to June.
It's going to be a blast, man.
There's going to be so much good basketball.
And Caleb McClain with a super chat. Thanks, Caleb. Was it Bernstein Bears or Berenstein Bears? Well, that is a classic case of the Mandela effect, fella. Not getting into that, but look it up. But you know what the Mandela effect is.
I do indeed.
Yeah. Chick-fil-A. How do you spell it?
I mean, are you asking me for real?
Yeah.
CHIKFILA.
That's what they all say. CHICK.
That was for you for your example.
Oh, you knew it?
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk some basketball. Chicago, Atlanta. We got 7 games today. The Bulls on the road in Atlanta. And let me just say, we got some injury news in Atlanta, which we'll get to, but the Bulls 1.5 point favorites, 231.5 point total. We have an ownership project. We have an update, right?
We do indeed.
What are we doing with the Bulls out of the gate?
Very little. Oh, we actually just got ownership again 1 minute ago. So Let me just grab that just in case. I can't imagine anything changed too greatly, but there's no way. We ran it obviously for a reason. So let me pull it in here. But again, I don't think that there's much to worry about here, at least from a DraftKings perspective. Highest owned guy on the Bulls is Zach LaVine at 8K. Clearly, Zach LaVine provides you the ability to have a ceiling game. Hasn't been playing great as of late, but at 8K, are you really all that surprised if Zach LaVine goes for 50 plus fantasy points? I certainly am not. So to me, he's very clearly the best option you're going to find. DeMar is just a bit overpriced for me. 10-2 on FanDuel, 10-3 on DraftKings, no ownership coming in. He's a pivot at best. Vooch, 9K is a little healthy on DraftKings, 8,500 on FanDuel, a little bit more reasonable. LaVine and Vooch are the two guys pulling any ownership. And per my first crunch, LaVine and Vooch are really the only two guys that I'm getting to from Chicago. That is a FanDuel answer too, by the way. If you want to get a little bit of Dosunmu on DraftKings, I think that's reasonable. He's 5,300. $1,000 cheaper than he is on FanDuel. He's not a great per minute guy. I got him at 0.75 fantasy points per minute in this game, but we're talking about 34 minutes or more in a competitive affair. That's good enough at 5,300.
All right. So let's spend some time on this Atlanta team, because this is where it gets pretty interesting, right? They have a questionable Trae Young. John Collins remains doubtful, but let's not sleep on the fact that Onyeka Okongwu, is out in the concussion protocol. This is a guy who's been getting like significant backup minutes, and you're already looking like you're going to be down John Collins. So let's actually kick it off here. Yeah. How does this affect the front court with both of these guys projecting to be out right now?
Yeah. So for Capella, it completely firms up his minutes and for sure increases his minutes ceiling. He's 6,400 on FanDuel. He's 5,900 on DraftKings. He's pulling a pretty decent chunk of ownership. To me, that's totally warranted. If you want to give him something like 30 minutes, I think that's reasonable. It also opens up Gorgui Dieng as a potential punt play. He's 4K on FanDuel, which isn't all that appealing, but he's the flat minimum 3K on DraftKings. He's clearly going to be the backup in some regard for Capella. Now, how much he plays as the backup is sort of up in the air. It's against Chicago. Like, if you want to go smaller and go to like a 5 out with Gallo at the 5, or if you want to call it Hunter, I think that could potentially happen. Or, a new guy into the rotation. You got 13.7 minutes between Dieng and Okongwu in this last one. Dieng coming in for Okongwu. I went a little bit heavier to Dieng. I gave him 17 minutes. I did leave a little bit of minutes left over at the 5 for non-Capella Dieng spots. But if Capella gets into foul trouble, like Dieng is immediately going to be the guy that picks up that time. And at 3K, we're talking about needing 25 to 30 fantasy points. He's a fantasy point per minute guy or more when he's out there. It starts to look a little interesting. Obviously, don't play Capella and Dieng together, but that's sort of where you're looking. And then I think Gallo gets firmed up the most. He's been playing well north of 30 minutes over the past 2 or 3 weeks. Don't see any reason that changes. 5,100. He's probably the best overall play for Atlanta.
Okay. You don't think it significantly helps Bogdanović in a spot like this? 37 minutes in that game, played, close to the entire second half. He didn't start, obviously, but you know what? Kevin Huerter did get into some foul trouble in, let me see here. Yeah. Kevin Huerter. You got to
remember Lou Will is back too.
Yeah.
So that's another guy that wasn't in that would be in today.
Yeah. Bogdanović played over 20 minutes in the second half of that last game. Huerter did get foul trouble. He came in a little bit early. But I guess the problem here is that it appears that you might not be seeing, it's possible that you might not be seeing just a standard backup role from Gorgui Dieng. You broke that down. Like you say you might, but it's also possible that you don't. If that's the case, some of these other guys that are already getting minutes could benefit from it.
Absolutely. So Atlanta's weird in that they'll have guys that start that don't close. They'll have guys that don't start that do close. And those minutes can bounce around a little bit. So just by default, there's a slight boost to the minutes upside of Bogdanović. There's a slight boost to the minutes upside of Kevin Huerter. DeAndre Hunter sort of already gets those minutes, but both he or Gallo can see a little bit more. And we're seeing it in the ownership that it's really hard to separate these guys. Hunter, Gallo, Bogdanović, Huerter, Capella are all 15 to 25% owned. We're working our way through that range. That's how those guys looked coming out of my sims on DraftKings. I actually think Trae Young is getting slept on at 10-4. The price is a little healthy, but if he's 2.5% owned, I'm willing to take that shot. I think that if you're looking from a leverage perspective, it would be really easy to take a high dollar, high owned guy and just turn him into Trae Young if you want to be slightly more contrarian for your lineup builds. But I think you can cast a pretty wide net between all 6 of those guys on DK. FanDuel is a completely different story. Bogdanović is 6,700. He looks meh to me. Kevin Huerter is 5,300. That's $700 more expensive than it is on DraftKings. Again, not really a salary that I'm looking to get to all that much. Trae Young, on the other hand, 9,300 on FanDuel, to me, way more appealing. But it's Hunter, it's Gallo, it's Capella. Those guys stand out a lot more to me on FanDuel than hit the Trae Young, Bogdanovich, Kevin Huerter group. Whereas on DraftKings, I think they all sort of look similar.
Man, why is Capella not ever used anymore as just like a rim runner in pick and roll situations?
I don't know what's up with him, because he's also been not great defensively, and that has been sort of his calling card for a while, and that hasn't really been the best for him. I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing they would love to trade him.
Yeah, probably.
I should correct myself. He has, I assume, been coming on as of late. He's now the third best guy in plus minus on the team behind Young and Collins. So I'm not entirely sure what happened, but he was ice cold earlier in the season.
Yeah, and he didn't even close last game. I mean, in a close game against the Celtics, I don't know. I think the price is still fine, but I'm beginning to get kind of cold feet on Capella. Beginning to think like maybe he's priced where he should be. Maybe this guy isn't actually underpriced. He only played 30 minutes last game with Okongwu going out in the first half. That's concerning. I don't think he benefits really from a minute standpoint.
He benefits from a ceiling in minutes in that they just have less options to go to at center.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't think his minutes projection for this game really changes, but I do think that he's way more likely to have to play 36 minutes today.
Okay. Yeah. We'll see. Anyway, Memphis and Boston. Grizzlies 1-point dogs against the Celtics, 223.5 total. No real injury news here. Once we get to Boston, it gets a little interesting though. Desmond Bane, always an interesting play. John Morant, whenever he's pulling like no ownership, to me is at least worth talking about. Now, granted, on this slate, you have Luka. You don't have a ton. Like Kevin Durant's back, but he's facing Miami and he's been out, extended hiatus for him over a month. Actually, well over a month, like a month and a half now. DeJounte Murray's on this slate, DeRozan, but Levine's back. You get where I'm going here. So with Ja, how does he factor into all of these guys in that, 10K and up price range?
I think he looks fine. I mean, to me, he looks really similar to Trae Young, and neither guy is really pulling any of the ownership. If I just sort by salary, and we have 9 guys, 10K or above, I have Ja in the optimal lineup at 8%, but that's the same spot where I have Luka, LeBron. I got Trae Young at 9, Durant at 6. Like it's all jumbled together. I have 2 guys that kind of stand out pretty firmly in that 10K range. We will get to them, one of which we'll get to very quickly. I'm happy to get to Ja. To me, no priority. Just one of those guys where like, yeah, he's 10-2 and he should be. He's a 1.3 fantasy point per minute guy. It's a tough matchup against Boston. There's no doubting that. Their defense is exceptional, but yeah, if you want to get there, you get there. I think Desmond Bane is the best option you can get to from Memphis on both sites. Shooting guard, small forward on FanDuel and DK. Shooting guard, small forward, 5,700. I'm saying both of those things twice because I'm trying to read chat at the same time and I didn't realize what was coming out of my mouth, but it happens. Maybe I'm not as crisp now today as I thought that I was. Bane is the guy that I'm getting to a lot. I ran a crunch earlier. I loaded everything. If I had to go to lock right now, I would have 40% Desmond Bane.
Whoa. Okay.
That's a FanDuel price too, by the way. But
significant.
FanDuel's running a really ridiculous $3.33 contest, 160,000 entries, $130,000 up top.
Okay. Oh, hey, I wanted to ask you real quick. If I think Trae Young plays, but if he doesn't play, DeLon Wright, who's been getting the backup minutes, I think Bogdanovich, just from an overall usage perspective, has to benefit because you don't have Collins likely, right? If Trae Young is out, even though it's not the best matchup against Chicago, obviously a lot of value and low mid-range or high-end value, however you want to put it, is going to be concentrated around this Hawks team today, in case anyone was wondering.
Yeah, DeLon Wright's 3,100. Even if you don't think that he gets a ton of minutes and he goes to 26, he's still like one of the 3 best plays of the slate.
For sure. And I would assume he starts. I would think you'd still want to bring Bogdanovich off the bench with the way he's played, but maybe I
would fully expect it to be DeLon Wright.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Jason Tatum on the other side of this one, 35% usage rate in the games he's played without Jaylen Brown this year. I think we have a pretty good idea of whether or not we have any interest in attacking Jaylen Brown today or Jason Tatum against the Memphis Grizzlies. To me, it's just it's a spot you have to get to, and there's not really an excuse otherwise.
No, I agree. I think it's possible you see him play even more than 36 minutes in this one.
For sure.
I took the rates with Jaylen Brown off the floor. I had no problem leaving Schroeder on or Josh Richardson on, trying to sort of use them as proxies for Derek White. So you do get to like 34% usage for Tatum. You could see it even be slightly higher than that, given the fact that Schroeder is sort of a high usage guy. He's not there. Derek White, not nearly as high of a usage guy as Schroeder normally is. So you could even see Tatum creep into that like 35, 36% range. Something to pay attention to. He's 30% owned on FanDuel, 20% owned on DraftKings. Fully warrants those salaries. He was one of the guys that I mentioned at 10K or above that I thought did very clearly stand out. But I think this entire Boston team stands out. I've got a ton of Robert Williams, 7,600 on FanDuel, 6,900 on DraftKings. I think he looks exceptional. Al Horford is back up over 30 minutes a game pretty regularly now, and I assume that only firms him up with no Jaylen Brown. I actually have more Al Horford on FanDuel at 6,200 than I do any other Boston Celtic. And I'm not even done there. I'm happily going to get
disgusting.
I know. I don't love it. 6,100 on DraftKings works too. Like, he just looks really good given the minutes that he's been playing. I didn't realize that, he played 34 minutes this last time out, 37 the game before that, 32, 34.
Yeah.
If he's playing 32 minutes or more in a game right now, he is underpriced. He's a fantasy point per minute or more, 1.04 FanDuel points per minute over the last 30 days. I also want to get to Derek White. Now, I don't know if he's going to start. I fully expect him to close. They could start Nesmith, still bring White off the bench, stagger. That probably sets White at like the 30-minute a game mark. He's 5,700 on FanDuel, currently projected for 30% ownership. I have to assume that there's like a mild issue with our DraftKings ownership. I can't imagine Derek White is 30% owned on FanDuel at 5,700 and not owned on DraftKings at 6,300.
Yeah.
With two eligibilities too. He's just point guard on FanDuel.
So first off, totally agree on Horford. It's gross. I really don't enjoy playing Al Horford, but you have to. By the way, Josh drinks water from a straw, which I find strange. Jordan Klein, our producer, is doing the same thing. Water drinking from a straw is an uncomfortable feeling. I do not condone it, nor do I support it, but you guys do it anyway.
So why?
It's one of those things, man. Why do I need it? Why do I need an explanation?
Why is water the most common beverage on the planet, the least likely to use the device?
Drink it like a man, Josh.
What, straight from a stream?
Drink it like a man. Knock back the bottle.
Yeah. Way to kill the planet with that useless plastic.
I got some comments the other day when I was out at the bar and I was like, air hand dryers are the dumbest invention ever. Just give me a paper towel. Am I wrong about that though? They're the dumbest thing ever. They don't work.
I like the ones that are like Dyson style, where it's like a legit, not like the old ones that you'd find in like a Wendy's that don't really dry your hands.
Yeah, I was at a dive bar.
Or a vacuum that you stick your hands in. They work immediately.
I was at a dive bar. So that should give you an idea.
So that one's not the good one.
It's just like shooting water all over your shirt. You're not dry at all. And there are no paper towels as a recourse. Like, you can't go, okay, that didn't work. Let me now actually dry my hands. People say Loughy's trying to kill the planet. I just want dry hands, Josh. That's all. Well, and I want to drink water from a bottle.
The mistake that you're making is washing your hands after the bathroom. Oh,
you don't?
I mean, it depends where I am.
I posted a Twitter poll on this not long ago, asking, if you piss, do you wash your hands? And the answers were, always, if I'm in public, right, separate, or never. And the popular answer, which was if I'm in public, right? Like a public restaurant. Like if I go and take a leak right now after this show in my own house, probably going to forego washing my hands.
0% chance that I'm doing it in my own home. I don't think that I ever have, no matter what's happened. Even if I get it on me, it's just coming along for the ride for the rest of the day. If I'm out, it also depends what I'm doing. If I'm in a dive bar, I'm certainly not washing my hands.
Really?
No.
Okay. What if there's like 3 other people in there with you and they're all like walking up to the sinks to wash their hands, and now it's just like a pressure situation? Do you just stroll out anyway?
Yep.
Okay.
So like, isn't urine sterile? What are we worried about here from pee particles here?
Is it necessary to drink my own urine?
Public and
but I
post
do it because
dump.
it's sterile and I like the taste.
Public and post dump, yes.
Oh yeah, well, if you dump in public, that's a problem in its own right. I refuse.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to refuse. Congratulations on having control over yourself.
Most
times I don't have a choice.
Wait, hold on. At home dump, you do too.
No, never.
What?
No, I might as well not have sinks.
Dude, are you joking?
No.
Oh my God.
No, never.
Oh God, that's too good. All right,
never.
But then why in public? Because those toilets are disgusting. I won't go near them.
Yeah. Public toilets are gross.
Does your wife know that if you just fire one off, you come in hot and you just stroll out of the bathroom like, honey, I'm going to make dinner tonight like you did last night?
I give her a big high five and everything.
This is too good. This is too good. All right. But yeah, water with a straw.
I don't know. That one I don't get.
When I drink, like a lot of times I'll wake up and I'll just chug one of these straight down, takes a couple, gone. Imagine trying to do that through a straw.
I reuse my straw, so it's not so bad, you know? You just create mass amounts of plastic in a landfill. But at least your hands were clean while you drank that water.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else from Boston you like? And outside of Tatum, who are your top options? Just to recap here. We got slightly sidetracked there.
I'm going to have a hard time trying to go to Neesmith, even if he's named the starter. Like it firms him up a little bit. He's shooting guard, small forward, 3,300, but he's a 0.7 fantasy point per minute guy. I don't think that he's going to get more minutes than Derek White, barring any issues. So for me, it's Tatum, it's Williams, it's Horford, and it's White as my 4 main priorities. Marcus Smart to a degree, but I think Marcus Smart is wildly over-owned today. In particular, 33% owned on FanDuel, to me, is incredibly incorrect.
It's Vinci or Vinci said, I wonder if he picks up his dog's stool barehanded.
Why would I pick it up?
Oh, you don't even pick it? No, hold on. You're not that guy. If you're walking your dog and it shits, you don't clean the shit up?
Depends where it is.
Oh, dude, you are really...
If it's in like someone's front yard, yes, unquestionably it's getting picked up. If it's along the side of the road in like the shrubbery, then no, it's not getting touched. That's where regular animals will also shit.
But if it's in somebody's yard, definitely.
Immediately picking it up.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's fair.
Or I'm doing the fake pickup, depending on what the consistency is. Because if it's going to be one of those where like you're just smearing it into the grass, then I don't really feel like I'm solving anything. I'll let Mother Nature wash that away.
You are just on fire today. Sometimes I'll forget a bag. And if I forget a bag, I have to like look at the house just in the event that they're home and be like, I'll be back. There have been times where I have not returned, but yeah, I
One of our friends' dads used to just carry around fake dog crap in a bag so that it looked like he had already picked it up and was carrying it around.
But that's so much work, dude.
Well, no, I mean, he didn't get a new one every time.
I know, but what?
He just always has a bag of fake dog shit attached to the leash.
Oh, God. Miami, Brooklyn. Miami, second of a back-to-back today, Josh. This could get interesting, right? Because let's point out too, Jimmy Butler, worst game ever. That was rough.
Not great. I'm pretty happy that I didn't play yesterday because I would have had just an overwhelming amount of Jimmy Butler. And 2 for 9 in 18 minutes, probably not going to get it done for you. Unfortunately, going right back to him, I think he's one of the 3 best plays of the day, particularly on FanDuel, where he's 8,200 shooting guard small forward. I would have him in like 70% of my lineups, 80% of my lineups if it were lock right now. I think Jimmy Butler is pretty clearly one of the best plays you can find on FanDuel. I like him on DK.
He was 2 of 14 in 35 minutes.
What?
Not 8. What?
Fantasy Cruncher must not be updated then. They must have only have like the first half stats in here.
Must be. Yeah. He really struggled, man. He had 16 fantasy points in 35 minutes.
Oh, so the fantasy points are correct.
Yeah.
Stat 35. Line, I guess, is incorrect.
I guess so. All I know is it was rough. If you
what did you say it was from the field?
What's up?
What was he from the field?
2 for 14.
Okay. They have 2 for 9 in here. So
maybe sounds like a first half line, 18.
But the actual fantasy points is 15.6. So I don't know.
I don't know. Either way, not great.
No, but you got to go to him today.
Yeah, I get it. It's one of those weird spots. You lose by a point to Milwaukee. High scoring game too, 120 to 119. And now you come back against Brooklyn with Kevin Durant making his long-awaited return at the Barclays Center, where Kyrie Irving still can't play. Do you like anybody else from Miami today?
Nobody that
Kyle
I would
Lowry's
call
still out. Sorry.
Yeah, likely still out. Who knows?
Is he not confirmed? I thought he was confirmed. Okay.
Back to back.
You're right.
You never know.
You're right.
Like clearly you're going to get to some Tyler Hero. You're going to get to some Gabe Vincent. I think you can get to some PJ Tucker. Bam for 9,900 on FanDuel doesn't really tickle my fancy. He's 8,600 on DraftKings. That's a little bit better. And he's been playing incredible. 1.42 FanDuel points per minute over the last 30 days for Bam. He's really been stepping into the role. Not something that I really want to get to all that frequently, but again, he looks better on DK. So there is that. I think you can work your way through most of the starters, but I think Jimmy Butler is just simply the clear priority here. Gabe Vincent, probably my second favorite option on DK at 4,500. Yeah, he just plays a lot of minutes and you kind of just pencil him in for 15 points at least.
So here on the strategy show, Josh, we try to be comprehensive yet concise when it comes to analysis. Of course, sometimes we go off the rails. That's just the way it goes. Is there anyone at all for Brooklyn that has any interest today?
Highest owned guy projected on FanDuel right now is Patty Mills at 2.1%. Highest owned guy on DraftKings is 6.7% owned Patty Mills. Now I'm going to be honest. I think Patty Mills ends up being a little interesting at 4,100 shooting guard small forward on DK. To me, he's the best guy. He is no priority. If you want to tell me that you're just going to go to Kevin Durant, he's going to play 36 minutes and be fine, I am never going to talk somebody out of rostering Kevin Durant. I think Brooklyn is basically the easiest team to get away from. The crunch that I ran that would get loaded into FanDuel right now does not have a single share of anyone from Brooklyn.
Okay, I get it. If you had been, and I've been talking about this for feels like forever now, if you had just bet the under on Patty Mills scoring props every night, right, over his last 11 games, you would have hit 10 out of 11 times. And
it's not bad.
And the crazy thing is all 10 of those times, it wouldn't have even been close. He's been god awful. I mean, his shooting has gone from a guy that is, one of the better three. He's still shooting 41% from 3 this season, which is remarkable given how bad he's been lately. But yeah, it's rough. And how many minutes are we giving to Kevin Durant today? So
I gave him 34. Clearly don't feel super comfortable with that number, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Seems fine.
Okay. Hey, No House Advantage. Heard of it? If you haven't, well, you should check it out, and you should use the promo code Awesemo to get a $25 deposit bonus when you sign up. nohouseadvantage.com. You can go to the App Store, the Google Play Store. Doesn't matter. They're bringing you an entirely different way to play daily fantasy with player prop contests. Very cool. There's no salary or anything, but you're just taking props over, under, no juice on either side, building a lineup with them, right? The ones you like the most go at the top. They get the most points. The ones you're least confident in go at the bottom. And similarly, they get the fewest points. But we have all of the tools that you can use at your disposal for free every day at Awesemo to help you get a significant edge over there, right? The No House Advantage player prop or the optimal lineup tool, the No House Advantage projections. You can use Odd Shopper for it. You can use our own player prop tool, all of that stuff entirely free. And the props over there are static too. So if you're actually paying attention, if you're comparing them against our projections and against other books, there's no reason you shouldn't be profiting at No House Advantage. Use the promo code Awesemo, AWESEMO, get $25 when you sign up and deposit for the first time, and check it out. You got some solid prize pools over there. You can do it on your computer. You can do it on your phone. It doesn't matter where, and use all of our free tools when you do that. No House Advantage, sponsor of the Strategy Show. Hit it up. Check it out. Get that $25 using the code Awesemo. All right, Detroit, Toronto. Let's keep it rolling here, Josh. You got the Pistons. Isaiah Stewart is the one guy, and they're 8.5-point dogs, by the way. And then you've got guys like Kelly Olynyk, who, you know, I'm a big supporter of old Kelly O, but price has come up a little bit now. I think Marvin Bagley in this spot is doubtful once again to play. So it sucks. I would love to get like 28 minutes from Kelly Olynyk. I'd have him everywhere today, but it doesn't appear that'll be the case.
No, and this one just sort of seems like a half step better than Brooklyn. There are no real priorities here. Like Isaiah Stewart is totally fine in 28 minutes at 4,900. You know, if you want to take a shot at Kelly Olynyk putting up a score that matters in 20 minutes at 4,700, that's fine. I don't see any real priorities here. Shares of Bay or Cunningham or Grant, these 30-plus minute guys, they're not going to ruin your lineup. They're, 5%ers, and that's what the ownership shows. We kind of know what we're getting out of this team at this point in time. Maybe they look a little bit more appealing if Van Vliet and Anunoby end up being out. And boy, we have a lot to talk about when we get to Toronto. But I don't see anything on Detroit that I would tell anybody you should really try to get these guys in your lineup.
Yeah, I have zero arguments there. Let's just talk about Toronto then. I want to spend some time on some good games here. Van Vliet, and I've mentioned this a lot. It's odd to me that he even played at all out of the All-Star break because he said he wasn't feeling right. Yeah. Like he's like, I'm not where I want to be. But then they threw him back into the mix, Josh, and they ended up getting smoked in back-to-back games. Now he's sat out 2 games. OG Anunoby was supposed to be sidelined for an extended period of time, and he was questionable for last game. So I really don't have – I had a good read last game that both these guys probably still sit. I have zero idea what's happening today.
Well, if OG Anunoby plays today, he should be in every lineup you make on FanDuel. Have you seen his price? Don't look.
I'll take a guess.
Go for it.
5,100?
4,700.
What? How does that happen?
I don't know. OG Anunoby on February 1st was 8,500 on FanDuel. And spoiler alert, he didn't start playing less.
That's crazy.
This dude plays 35 minutes a game or more. At 4,700, I have him in every single lineup. He is showing up in 100% of my stuff if he is in. And I don't care what his ownership ends up being. That's just an impossible price tag. Yeah. Even if he plays poorly, 4,700 is still like in your sights if you're playing 36 minutes. He had a finger injury. Like he's not going to be limited in minutes. If he's out there for the full freight.
Is it it's on his shooting hand?
I don't care if it's all of the fingers on his hand at 4,700.
All right.
You can cut his hand off.
Is there anything else though that's really worth talking about with Toronto right now? I only say this in the sense of like, all right, well, if these guys play, all right. So if Van Vliet and OG Anunoby are in, we know you Anunoby on FanDuel, but what about the rest of
okay, so I'm playing him I don't want to say just as aggressively on DraftKings, but I think 5,800 on DK, shooting guard, small forward, is also still quite wrong. If Anunoby is in, he's one of the best players on the slate. He is my number one contender on FanDuel and DraftKings. Spoiler alert for the people that haven't watched those yet. Regardless of the status of Van Vliet or Anunoby, I think Pascal Siakam looks really good on FanDuel. He's 30% owned at 8,100. He's 10% owned on DraftKings power forward center. He looks good in that area. If either of those guys get ruled out, he looks even better. I feel the same way about Scotty Barnes on FanDuel and DraftKings, 6,600, 6,400. I'm happy to play him 20% of the time or more. If those guys are in, it goes up if they're out. Trent, I think getting underrepresented, 8 and 9% owned on FanDuel and DK. I would likely have more if both guys are in. If they're out, again, jam them in. If there's no Van Vliet, we go to Malachi Flynn. We get additional minutes to take shots on guys like Precious Achiuwa for 3,900 on DraftKings or $3,800 Chris Boucher on FanDuel. You cannot get away from Toronto today, no matter what. You're jamming a lot of these guys in, no matter what. We just don't know specifically which guys those are going to be. But Siakam, I'm in regardless of the news that we get.
Yeah, Malachi Flynn, though, if both of those guys are out, he played 34 minutes in a blowout and then 43 minutes in a competitive game. Regulation, Josh. So you just know. You know what Nurse is doing right now. If both of those guys, because if Anunoby's in, I don't know. It's very possible that Malachi Flynn just doesn't start, right? And then you see, like, unless you start Siakam at the 5, but I would assume
I don't think we're ever getting Siakam at the 5 again during the regular season. Now that they have 5 more centers,
wouldn't Malachi Flynn be the casualty there in the starting lineup?
If Anunoby is back, but Fred VanVleet isn't, probably.
Because you'd still have Barnes, you'd still have Anunoby, you'd still have Siakam, you'd still have Trent, and then if Siakam's not starting at the 5, there's nowhere for Malachi Flynn to start.
Seems reasonable to me. Yeah.
Okay.
I think Malachi Flynn hinges on VanVleet.
I think he hinges on both, is what I'm saying, as a starter.
Most likely, yes.
Yeah. Because if he's coming off the bench, even if VanVleet's out and OG Anunoby's in, I wouldn't want to pay more than minimum salary for Malachi Flynn.
I agree.
Golden State, Dallas Mavericks. Let's get into this one a little bit. Man, I should have taken this last night when I saw it, and I was like half asleep. The Mavericks were 2.5-point dogs at home, and woke up this morning. It was Golden State now 1.5-point dogs on the road, which makes some more sense here. 220 total. Mavs playing good basketball, but with the Warriors, Klay Thompson is expected to play today. That, I won't say throws a wrench into the works, but it just makes this team less appealing than they already were collectively. You're talking about guys like, Kevon Looney and such, who's playing decent enough minutes, is a, respectable per minute producer. But when it comes to Curry, Josh, how do you look at Curry? And maybe I'm not like leading this question, but can you look at Curry and say, I'd rather play him over DeJounte Murray against Sacramento. I'd rather play him over Jason Tatum, just taking these price tiers, not the same position, over Luka Doncic in the same game. Like, it's hard to prioritize him right now.
I think he's basically unplayable.
Okay. Easy enough.
Yeah. I don't have more than 5% of any of these guys on FanDuel, and they have better prices on FanDuel than they do on DraftKings. $4,400 Looney is okay, I guess. I think we'll have plenty of better value options as we get throughout the day. More often than not, I find Golden State to be wildly unappealing, and that is firm for today. But 11-1 for Steph is lunacy. I think he's the worst play above 10K on DraftKings.
It's crazy.
He's here's one for you. He's 9,700 on FanDuel, and I don't have any.
So 11-1 on DraftKings is just completely,
And like, he's obviously a significantly better player on DK than FanDuel because of the extra bonus for threes. Like, nobody gets a better benefit out of a 3-point bonus than Steph Curry. It doesn't make a difference to me. There's no way I'm playing him at 11-1.
Nope. What about Dallas?
Opposite sort of scenario for the pay up option here. I would more than welcome a little bit of 12-2 Luka Doncic, 1.59 FanDuel points per minute over the past 30 days. He's only 10-7 on FanDuel. Just in case you want to know how awesome that is, go ahead and get to that in any sort of volume you want to. Unfortunately for me, I think I like Reggie Bullock quite a bit on FanDuel. He's playing bigger minutes. He's actually playing a little bit better as of late, although 0.69 fantasy points per minute is not exactly exciting. But 3,900 at shooting guard on FanDuel is a pretty nice value. It's a bit too expensive on FanDuel for me to go like aggressive for him. No real priorities in this one. Like Jalen Brunson's role has been weird lately. The minutes for Dinwiddie scare me, and his price isn't really in the best spot. So I'd prioritize Luka. Excellent pay up option today. Second favorite pay up option today. But Reggie Bullock on FanDuel at 3,900 would be the piece that I'm actually most interested in, just from a value perspective.
Okay. Hey, we had a super chat earlier. I saw it. I completely forgot. Jordan Klein reminded me. Caesar Galvin said, hey, guys, I took down the 100K on FanDuel yesterday. Thanks to all your input. Love the shows. Been a fan for a while now. Thanks, Josh, Loughy, and Ship My Money. You guys are great. Also, throw me on the Hall of Fame. Congrats, man. Thanks. That's awesome. That's awesome.
It's good to see, man. It's always
Jordan,
good to see.
He said he doesn't have a Twitter account, but I think he said he threw it in Discord. So, yeah, I would hope.
I DM'd him and we got it. We're going to throw it in there.
My man, look at this guy. Okay. Jordan Klein coming through again. Congrats, man.
You should also get yourself a Twitter account so you can get a free month.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, get the free month of Awesemo if you don't already use the tools. It's not hard to create a Twitter. Like, it takes a second to create a Twitter account and just tweet us at Awesemo HOF. Good call. Yeah, with the screenshot. Also wouldn't hurt to get 200 likes here, Josh. We got almost 600 watching, 154 likes.
Wouldn't hurt at all.
No. Do it.
Hit the damn like button, people.
Sacramento stinks, man. I was on the over 35.5 points, rebounds, assists for Sabonis, and he had 25 or 20. No, I needed 36. He had 23 at halftime. I was like, okay, this is easy. He got there with 36, but they just got routed in the second half. I mean, this was a 4-point game at halftime, Josh, against the New Orleans Pelicans. And they come out of the half and just get absolutely shit on. So then, of course, starters lose minutes. They lose about 4 minutes late in the game. Fortunately, it didn't make a difference. I'm just selfishness here, but it was also in the video, so it helps all of us. But it is funny how Sabonis, when he's on the floor, is heavily involved, like legit triple-double upside every single night he's out there. And he played 37. He was on pace to play another 37 minutes yesterday. I will go back to this. I say it every single time. Competitive games, which are hard to come by recently for Sacramento, and no foul trouble. Sabonis is playing 37 minutes in regulation. I don't know how it looks on the second of a back-to-back, but I can tell you for sure that is what his rotations are pacing.
Happy to play him again today. I think he's pretty clearly the best option here. If you want to tell me that it's De'Aaron Fox, I guess I could believe you. But I'm happy going to Fox and Sabonis. This is a fast-paced game against San Antonio, and clearly everything runs through those top two guys. So whether it's $8,800 Fox, $9,700 Sabonis is sort of a problem on DK because he's only center eligible. I like him a lot more on FanDuel, where he also has the power forward eligibility. But the guy that we need to talk about here, I think everybody should be going straight back to Trey Lyles again. Power forward, center eligible, 4K on DK. Played 20 minutes yesterday. I think it's hard to assume. Like, I think that's if he's starting, that is a floor minutes game, especially based on the rotations that I saw. I gave him 25 minutes to try to be a little bit more pessimistic, and he then, at least on DraftKings, becomes the value play again. And ownership is there, 27% ownership. Twice as high as anybody else on the Kings. I know you people are probably mad about it from yesterday, but you got to go right back to Trey Lyles.
Oh, disgusting. All right. You really think so, huh?
If he's starting, yeah. I don't know how you can't project him for less than 20 minutes if he starts. Yeah. He played like 1.5 minutes or something stupid in the second quarter in a normal rotation span. It's not like he came on and picked up a foul and left. Like, he just got in for the final 2 minutes of the quarter.
I do wonder how much of this just comes down to whether or not he's playing well. If he's playing well, he gets more minutes. If he's not, he doesn't. I think that's definitely a possibility.
I'd like to also take a shot on Jeremy Lamb too. He's 3,900 at 12% ownership. Like if you just want to bet on Jeremy Lamb playing well today and getting a couple extra minutes in lieu of someone else, I don't think that's nuts at all. And he's half the ownership of Trey Lyles.
Yep. I don't think Lyles starts.
Interesting.
I mean, the fact
I don't know where you're getting that one from, but go for it.
Well, he would have played if that game stayed competitive. Dude would have played 15 minutes. Like,
well, we don't know that he doesn't close in that spot.
I have a very difficult time believing that he's in the closing rotation.
I mean, he started the first quarter, closed the second quarter, started the third quarter. I don't know what to make of it then. All right, put it this way. Let's say that Trey Lyles isn't let's say that Trey Lyles doesn't close the game yesterday. Mm-hmm. Who's closing in his place? I think he closed because they don't have anybody else that plays that role.
It depends. Like, okay, so I think it depends on what type of game it is. If you're up, if it's competitive, if you're down, trying to get points.
Same game. Like, who was going to close over Lyles? Like, I think that he could have been out there one way or the other. I just don't think they had anybody to play that spot. They already have Metu out there. They already have Damian Jones out there. So they're basically saying Metu is the 3 and Lyles is playing the 4. I don't think they're going to close with DiVincenzo. Maybe Lamb. I don't know.
I would have thought DiVincenzo. Barnes at the 4, Sabonis at the 5, DiVincenzo, Fox, and Holiday.
No, look, you're not hearing me correctly.
What's up?
So I think that is feasible as a closing lineup if it's going well. But like, I think that Lyles could have played that role either way. I'm more interested in where did the minutes in the second quarter go?
I'm very interested in that. Yeah, he played like 7 minutes and 35 seconds or something in the first quarter, and then just didn't return. Like you said, didn't return until a minute or two left in the second quarter. That's concerning.
Look, if you're giving him anything north of 22 minutes, I don't think you can go lower than 22 if you think that Trey Lyles is starting today. Sure. If you give him 22 minutes, he's a good value play today.
Right. And I can't project him as if he isn't starting. I just don't think it's like a lock at all that he's starting right now. They just got smoked again. And granted, he wasn't out there for a lot of it, but I don't know. We'll see.
He was minus 13 in his final run in the fourth quarter, which means that he was +1 heading into that.
Yeah, see, that's not great.
Well, I mean,
I guess
if you're already down by 20, maybe you're not giving so many shits. And I don't know if Metu, Josh Jackson, Damian Jones, Davion Mitchell, and Trey Lyles is the lineup that's going to hold to like claw you back into it. So
yeah, a lot of that was blowout run. Anyway, DeJounte Murray against the Kings. They're 6.5-point favorites. And this guy is just, I love him. I do. We all do around this way. And now he's got really as good a matchup as you can come across. The only concern here is, can the Kings keep a game competitive? But as we saw yesterday with the OKC, with the Thunder, with the Rockets taking the Jazz to overtime, Josh, it's you never know. You never know. But I like Murray quite a bit, even at this price point.
He is one of my 3 favorite plays of the day on FanDuel. He, Butler, and OG Anunoby will be making up a large majority of my ownership. He's 9,600 on FanDuel today, 1.5 fantasy points per minute over the last 30 days on FanDuel. And I actually have him projected higher than that. That's what happens when you face the Kings. So I am locked and loaded on Murray. I think he looks really good at 10-6 on DraftKings too, but the extra $1,000 certainly helps. I think you can get to a little bit more of San Antonio on the DK side. We're seeing Keldon Johnson, Jakob Poeltl, Devin Vassell, and Zach Collins all get north of 10% ownership. I mean, I guess I understand why people are going to Collins because he's the flat minimum 3K. If something happens to Poeltl, like maybe he plays a little bit more. I get a little bit nervous because they'd still have Jock Landale. So I don't really love the ownership coming out of Zach Collins. But if you want to go to Johnson, Poeltl, Vassell, I like rotating through that 3. Murray is the clear priority, though.
DeJounte Murray, points, rebounds, and assists, over 40.5. You take it?
I have him projected for a triple-double right now. 23 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. So that's 43.5.
There you go. He's plus 330 to triple double as well.
Okay. Plus 330.
Yeah.
I would snap take that.
Yeah. I mean, you're projecting him for one.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's plus 330 to triple double today.
I would snap take that.
I like that quite a bit.
I would even look at the like Murray to triple double Spurs win type bets too. If you want to get like, because if he triple doubles, I don't know if
those are out there, but there's probably like Murray to. That would be interesting to see. I don't know if there's that, but maybe there is.
You see them popping up from time to time.
They do a lot of those specials. Yeah, for sure. Worth keeping an eye on. But I pretty much like all the over props on DeJounte Murray today. I don't know why you wouldn't.
You can get Luka over 1 3-pointer for minus 2,000. I see that out there right now.
Solid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Murray, 9.5 assist prop, 7.5 rebound prop. Juice at 135, and then 22.5 point prop. So I love him. Do you like any? Well, you already got through everybody else. So let's wrap this up. Hey, real quick though. Have you heard of Breaks of God, Josh?
Yes, I have.
Well, what if I told you could catch a break with the potential to net a couple $100,000 with less than $100 investment? You might be interested.
I wouldn't turn a blind eye to that.
You would not. You would not walk past it like you said you would a $20 bill on the street.
Correct.
You would at least sit down and listen. Well, got good news because breaksofgod.com is the place to catch that break. Breaks of God is the latest sports card collecting trend to catch fire in America. And it's how sports card collectors of all ages are building high value card collections without huge investments or risk. It has quickly become a popular and economical way for sports fans to get a potentially high value or rare cards without having to buy a $1,500 box or case themselves. From football to baseball and everything in between, there are many slot options available for under $100. So you can get in on the big money action. Breaks of God box breaks dramatically increase your odds of getting big money premium sports trading cards for a fraction of the cost of the expensive, hard to get boxes. All the cards are broken from sealed premium boxes live on Instagram, and the cards are shipped directly to you for free when the live break is over. Slots are limited, so act fast. To learn more about how you can hit big money cards and get 30% off your first break, go to breaksofgod.com/A30. breaksofgod.com/A as in Awesemo 30 A30 and get 30% off your first break. Also make sure you follow them on Instagram at Breaks of God. Oh,
I've been doing box breaks. I've been getting into group breaks for sports cards since like 2014. So
really?
I'm all over this. Yeah.
Really? I've never done it. Okay. Nice. So you're about this stuff. I've always wondered if group breaks make sense, but you're saying they absolutely do.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. And we used to have a really good card store in Wilmington. A guy goes by Cards Infinity. It's not in Wilmington any longer. It had been here for years. He's been doing live box breaks as long as I can remember, at least 7 years online. So even before this boom kicked off, he was doing these sorts of breaks, and I was trying to get into them from time to time when I had enough money to do so. Unfortunately, the store isn't in Wilmington any longer, so it's not as interesting to me, and I haven't been watching. But in terms of getting into group breaks, yeah, it was always great. It's like, all right, I'm going to spend $75 to get a slot, and maybe I get the Mavs, and we're breaking a box of Luka's rookie cards. If that comes out, that's my card, baby.
That's pretty sweet. But so that's your card personally, or do you have to so
there's a lot of different ways that you can do it. Sometimes you do like a draft where you pick individual players and you'll get any of their cards. So like if you're busting a box of, rookie cards for this year or something, and you have the first pick, you take Evan Mobley, something along those lines. Or you could take, maybe it's teams, you take the Cavs, you get every Cavs card that comes out. So you take the cost of the box, let's say it's $1,000. You split it across 30 teams, so 30 people can get in there. One person gets every team. You randomly assign that stuff, and you get every card that comes out for that team.
So, that's when a player from that team is drawn, it's yours, is what you're saying.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah, it's not like shares. I mean, I guess in theory you could turn it into a share of things, and the card is just housed somewhere else. But for this one, it's a good time.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right. let's wrap this up. Lakers, LA Clippers. So you got the Lakers here, Josh, 2.5-point dogs against the Clippers. It's a, it's a home game. It's a road game. It's a neutral game. Call it what the hell you want. But LeBron James coming into this one questionable again. I don't really at this point see any reason why he wouldn't play. They just don't look particularly good lately. Made a push late in that game against Dallas the other day, but do we want to go back to LeBron here? And do we want to go back to anybody else? Like if Malik Monk starts again, we have to at least consider him, right? He played huge minutes last game.
Yeah, there are 3 guys you can go to today. You can go to LeBron. I'm not super fond of it. Clearly it's LeBron and it's fine, I'd rather go to LeBron than Curry. You can make a case like I'd rather go to Durant than LeBron if LeBron's going to be 20% owned and Durant's 2. I'll roll my dice there, but I'd rather have Luka. I'd rather have DeJounte Murray. I'd rather have Trae Young. I'd rather have Ja Morant. I'd rather have Jason Tatum. So not a huge priority, but again, it's LeBron James. If you make a lineup with LeBron, go for it. That's fine. Russell Westbrook is pretty clearly the best play you're going to find on FanDuel from the Lakers. He's $7K. He is the guy that I have the most. Unfortunately, Russ in 30% of my lineups right now. And then Malik Monk, I gave him 30 minutes. There's certainly minutes upside there. He's already getting the ownership. I think he's a perfectly acceptable play. And at 4,700 on DraftKings, probably your best bet on the Lakers.
Okay. 39 minutes last game in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
Big minutes, man. Clippers are a good defense. That's what's interesting about this team, right? Is they're good defense. Their offense really isn't that good. You look at them, Reggie Jackson is your headliner, right? They do.
Oh, is that bad?
Good, what?
Is that bad?
It's not great.
No.
I mean, if I told you they're in contention now, right? Aren't they? They're sitting in a playoff spot, I believe.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. They're 8th, so they're in a play-in, but still they're above 500. What I'm saying is like what most of what they do is defense. That's how they win games, but they do just enough on the other side. And Reggie Jackson, credit to him, has been pretty good. Lakers have been torched by backcourts all season long, so I suppose it's an interesting spot. But Zubac's prices come up. That's another thing here. I do wonder though, going up against Zubac's, Josh, do we go back to Dwight Howard in the starting lineup, at least like to start the first and the third?
I mean, they can. It would make some sense against this Clippers team. I don't necessarily think that makes the Lakers better, so I don't know. But if you're planning on playing Dwight, then playing him against Zubac makes the most sense.
Right.
I gave him 12 minutes, so I don't think it matters all that much. And if I'm playing the Clippers, it's weird. On FanDuel, it's basically just Reggie Jackson. He monopolizes the usage. He's 32% owned. So that's like where everybody is going. I just don't have much else from the Clippers there. But on DK, I think a lot of this looks similar. Like whether you want to go to Reggie Jackson, Terrence Mann, Marcus Morris, Nick Batum, Kennard, Coffee, I think all those guys look pretty similar. Like nobody's pulling away from ownership, anything crazy. You get Reggie Jackson up to 15%. Like I got him in for 29% usage, 28% assist rate. He looks pretty good, but he's $1,000 more expensive on DraftKings than he is on FanDuel. It's just not the same sort of play. So I'm mostly indifferent to the Clippers, other than the fact that the Lakers play fast and they're not very good. So I'd like to take some shots on individual Clippers. I just can't prioritize any specific guy.
Gotcha. Man, Zubac's 1%. I get it, but he played 34 minutes the game prior and then 25 minutes last game in a blowout where he was in foul trouble. So I do wonder, like, is Zubac's going to start seeing big minutes?
He will, and then the next day he's going to play 14 minutes because Isaiah Hartenstein has been a revelation this year. He's been exceptional for the Clips. So I think it's just going to yo-yo around. You got a great coach there in Ty Lue who has no problem playing matchups. So like I don't think it's ever going to be ultra consistent. Did you know Isaiah Hartenstein has the highest EPM on the Clippers?
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
64% true shooting this year.
Played well.
Yeah.
Zubac
6% block rate. You can't even get to the rim on this dude any longer.
No, I know their center rotation's pretty damn good when you think about them not having any like stars, you know?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Anyway.
they don't even have any like light stars.
Happy to have you guys get us to 200 likes. We just hit it. Appreciate it. You can find Josh at Josh Engleman, me at Loughy_D. Shout out to our boy Jordan Klein for producing the show. It's fun as always. Thanks for hanging with us, learning about some of the absolutely grotesque living conditions in the Engleman home. But
what are you gonna do, man? What are you gonna do?
Listen. I absolutely love the transparency. I think you're an open book, and everybody gains from that.
Yeah, they gain hepatitis C or whatever one comes from poo.
We'll see you back here tomorrow to close out the work week on the Awesemo.com NBA strategy show presented by No House Advantage. Peace.